Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. On tonight's show, a team hit the road and visit villagers with plenty to be thankful for to raise money for soldiers' charities. And we have the team behind the quest to tell us a little bit more about why and just what it takes to make it happen. And finally, we have Tom Reed with a look ahead at the weekend sport. But first, here's Erica Barker with the news headlines.
Hello, the headlines today. An increasing number of Staffordshire Bull Terriers are being abandoned, and schools across North East Lincolnshire have seen a drop in the number of pupils achieving 5 GCSEs at A star to C. But first, thousands of young people across our region are not prepared for the government's Help to Buy scheme, according to a new report. Under the scheme, which came into effect at the beginning of October, people can buy homes of up to £600,000 with a deposit of just 5%, as the government guarantees up to 20% of the mortgage. But it's thought almost 2/5 of 20 to 40-year-olds are in danger of having their applications turned down because they are not registered on the electoral roll, and therefore it could jeopardise their chances. People are being encouraged to see the softer side of Staffordshire Bull Terriers, as a record number of them are being abandoned. Staff's Their Softer Than You Think campaign aims to raise awareness of their plight, the plight of the breed, and challenge negative perceptions. Paul Greenfield of Sangreet Kennels says he's noticed a rise.
At the moment there is quite a few Staffy's bull breed types that are extremely difficult to rehome purely because they've had bad press. I mean, we've had bulldogs, American bulldogs, mauling children, Staffys, and you do, I find, get a lot of dogs that are coming from large estates, such like in Grimsby, not naming a few, but that are status dogs. I mean, we've had dogs come in that's just been brought on a lead and they just swing around and take a bite out of an apple tree for no reason at all. So, I mean, that just shows what sort of a temperament they are.
Schools across North East Lincolnshire have seen a drop in the number of pupils achieving 5 GCSEs at A star to C, including English and Maths. That's according to the National School League tables, which have been published this week. Meanwhile, it was good news for A-level and vocational students. Among the strong performers were those from Franklin College. It gained the best set of A-level results in its 23-year history. A new NSPCC centre in Grimsby has opened its doors, aiming to help vulnerable children and their families across North East Lincolnshire. The facility will offer a range of services, including supporting children whose parents have been diagnosed with a mental health difficulty or if there has been substance misuse. Retired Grimsby firefighter 52-year-old Andy Sangster did the honours of cutting the ribbon at the official launch after completing a 7-month round-the-world cycling challenge in aid of the charity.
When I thought this sort of new challenge up, I thought it's a good cause, a local cause, and the money would go to good use.
This new service centre will provide a really good environment for the families and children that the NSPCC helps. It's very light and airy, it provides a safe environment, and therefore that's why it's needed.
A team from Grimsby are making plans to set out on the Thankful Tour to raise funds for the Royal British Legion. It will coincide with the commemoration for the First World War and the 51 thankful villages where all the men returned home alive. Chris Smith and his friends decided to do this as they wanted an adventure but are looking for sponsorship to help them get the tour off the ground.
We are looking for a good corporate sponsor who could possibly help us out, just so that we've got money to help with advertising, getting round basically now, because we're having to take a support car for various reasons, and also somebody that might feel that they want to get involved with what we're doing and might want to sort of donate to the Legion, really. I mean, the costs that we're going to have are very minimal.
And the Royal Navy gave a presentation to the people of Grimsby prior to the arrival of the town's namesake mine hunter arriving in the port. Grimsby men and former school friends Lieutenant Dan Marsden and Corporal Oliver Colbeck were there as part of the team to talk about their roles.
It gives you good discipline throughout life, and it's also, like you say, it's a career. There isn't as many jobs around nowadays. This full-time work, get a pension at the end of it. Maximum terms 22 years. To have a pension at 40 years old, Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get many other jobs like that, do you?
Exactly. There's a lot of fantastic opportunities that the military gives you. I mean, the places you go and see, the people you meet as well. You don't just meet people from the same area. You're from all over the country and you come together with these people. You learn lots of new skills and trades.
And that's all from me. Until next time, goodbye.
Thanks, Erica. Now, 2014 is an historic year for Britain as the country commemorates the 100th anniversary of the outbreak of World War I. And two local men have come up with an unusual quest to remember the sacrifices made and raise money for the British Legion, which was set up after World War I to help injured soldiers. The team will visit the 50 thankful villages, so named because all of their men came back alive. The villages range from Wales to Northumberland, and they're doing it all in just 9 days, and get back just in time to join the Cleethorpes Armed Forces Day Parade. Emma Lingard visited them to find out more.
This lady will be the star of the 50 Thankful Villages tour when it gets going in June. Now it's all hands on deck to get her shipshape and ready in time. And the idea came from one Grimsby man's urge to go on an adventure.
I fancied a bit of an adventure, and then it sort of spiralled out from there, really. We got together with Dave, with Dodge, who's going to be my co-driver, and he sort of said, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it for a few days. So we came up with the route of doing the 50 Thankful Villages, and then with that we decided that really we ought to do it for charity, to raise money for the Royal British Legion, which is a great charity that helps ex-servicemen.
The tour around the UK has been done on motorbikes, raising £15,000 for the British Legion. Chris hopes his team can raise more, but to get there they need support.
We are looking for a good corporate sponsor who could possibly help us out, just so that we've got money to help with advertising, getting round basically now, because we're having to take a support car for various reasons.
And that support car is staffed by Gordon Smith, who has experience of such tours after years of doing the Beaujolais runs, and was more than happy to give his time.
Done long distance fundraising events before for local charities, and I thought, here we go again. It's a long time since I did several Beaujolais runs, which were very successful. And I did those in a really old car. It was a challenge in its own right to get the car back, let alone do the distance. And this looked like a really good challenge. So, if we can make some money for the British Legion, then why not?
But before they leave on their epic journey, the car needs to be prepared. And once she's ready, there'll be no stopping them.
Thanks, Emma. It sounds like an inspiring journey and a difficult one. But there's so much involved that we wanted to know a little bit more and thought that you might too. So we've invited Gordon and Chris Smith in today to talk about what it takes to make a trip like this happen and what work is already being done to prepare. Thanks for coming in today, guys. So just to introduce you properly, you're Chris.
Yep.
You're Gordon.
Yes.
You're both Smith.
Yep.
But you're not related.
No, we've already checked.
Okay, brilliant. So first of all, how many miles is this trip in total?
We're actually doing about 2,500 to 3,000 miles in total over the 9 days.
Wow,
yeah.
What does that average out per day?
It means basically it's not so much the actual mileage, it's more the time, and it means I'll be actually spending behind the wheel between 8 and 9 hours a day just behind the wheel.
Because there's going to be two of you in the car.
That's right, yeah, there's me and my co-driver.
But then, Gordon, you'll be as a support driver in a support car, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
So you'll be doing the same mileage?
No.
No?
No, what the support car is basically going to be doing is carrying all the gear that we can't in the very small car. And they'll just be going from our start point in the morning to our finish point in an evening.
So you'll be doing a lot of the hard sort of preparing behind the scenes work, is that right?
Yes, yes, that's the idea.
What sort of thing does that involve?
Well, making sure there's accommodation at the other end, and that we've got a position so we can bank any cash that's involved. It's got to be put away on a daily basis. Yeah. So, and then there's the preparation of the car for the next day's run.
And I suppose if anything goes wrong in the car, will you be there to help out?
Probably.
So £15,000 is what you mentioned. You hope to break that as it's a big target.
It is. But
how's it going so far?
Not too bad. We're getting a lot of support. A lot of people are interested in what we're doing, and that seems to be going very well. And we just want to spread the word, really, that we're doing it. And like, the aim is actually we're going to be making it available so people can follow us on the trip, on Facebook and on Twitter. We're going to be updating all the time while we're away.
And obviously, we hope to be showing some updates of your trip when it happens.
Yeah. And then we're going to be taking, so we're going to have cameras on board the car as well.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, it should be really good.
And 51 villages, and these are the thankful villages where everyone came back alive, which must be very unusual because there's lots of hamlets and towns in Britain and only 51.
Yeah, it is, and some of those villages are quite small. And they are very spread out.
Yeah.
You know, some days we can be 2 or 3 hours before we get to the next one as we go around the country.
And are these people keen to have you? Have they set anything up?
Yeah, there's quite a few places that have set sort of various welcoming parties for when we get there, which is we're quite excited, and we'll get to meet some of the people of the villages and some of the towns that we're going to be going through as well.
You're taking a lot of different customs from different regions, I assume, in those 9 days.
Yeah, it's going to be quite exciting. I mean, I've always enjoyed travel anyway, so to actually be able to do it around the UK is going to be quite exciting.
Now, why the soldiers' charities? What's your concern?
Why the Legion? We're both ex-forces, both Gordon and I, but all of the team come from forces families.
Yeah.
So that's why we're looking to support the Royal British Legion. They do a fantastic job in supporting ex-members of the armed forces and their families. You know, whether they left yesterday or whether they left 40 years ago. Their support is ongoing, and the work that they do is marvellous. And part of the trip is we're actually going to be visiting some of their projects around the UK as well.
Sounds brilliant.
You know, their rehabilitation and all those sort of things.
And finally, Gordon, very briefly, how's the car doing? Is it ready?
Not quite, but it will be by the time we go.
Brilliant. Okay then, well, it's been really great to hear about what you're doing. It sounds very interesting. We can't wait to follow you when you're actually on the journey. Now we've got Tom Reed with the results from this week and a look ahead at the weekend sporting fixtures.
Hull City head to Roots Hall to face Southend in the FA Cup 4th round. There will be a familiar face in the opposing dugout in Phil Brown, who guided Hull into the Premiership via the playoffs in 2008. Scunthorpe are away to Dagenham and Redbridge, hoping to extend their current unbeaten run to 11 games in League 2. After this game on Monday evening, they will play their rearranged game against Fleetwood. Russ Wilcox will be hoping that positive results in both games can take his side further clear of their rivals. Lincoln lost 3-1 to Macclesfield on Tuesday evening despite taking a 44th minute lead through Ben Tomlinson. Manager Gary Simpson will be hoping that his side can get back to winning ways against Woking, who are directly below them in the Skrill Conference Premier table. In the same table, Grimsby travelled to the Racecourse ground to face Wrexham. Fans will be hoping it's more exciting than the same fixture last season, which ended 0-0. Manager Paul Hurst is still looking for reinforcements during the January transfer window to boost his squad. North Ferriby host AFC Telford at Church Road. Telford are currently in the 3rd position and 7 points behind them in the Conference North table. Brigg Town face Romulus away in the EvoStick Northern Premier. Elsewhere in the division, Goole are at home to Colville. Grimsby Borough are at home to Selby Town in the Tool Station Northern Counties East League Division 1. Cleethorpes Town are away to Pontefract, and if the Owls get a better result than Shore Lane Aquaforce, they'll replace them at the top of the division. Lincoln Moorlands Railway travel to Bosford after 2 defeats to Tadcaster in the Northern Counties East League Premier Division. The side are currently in the relegation zone. In ice hockey, Hull Stingrays face Coventry Blaze. They'll be hoping to extend the club's record for consecutive wins with a 7th victory after setting it against Dundee Stars last weekend.
Now don't forget that if you know of any local stories or issues, you can get in touch by phone on Grimsby 315561, on Facebook or Twitter at Estuary TV, or email us at news@estuary.tv. That's all from us tonight. We'll see you next time.